and welcome back to Catch That. This is our third episode, and we will be hanging out with Miss Trina Broussard. I am,
Hello.
hey, I forgot. Oh, yeah, that's JR, and I'm naturally Elise.
Oh, you tried it. See, you already started already. You see what I had to deal with?
That's all right. We're gonna have some fun. That's all right. That's all right. It ain't no fun if you can't talk no trash.
That's right.
It ain't natural if you can't talk a little trash.
So just quickly, Miss Trina Broussard, R&B and soul singer. She began her career singing background vocals for Bobby Brown, Pebbles, Babyface, Mariah Carey, Toni Braxton, BB and CeCe Winans, and more. She also was featured on the platinum-selling film soundtrack Love Jones, covering one of my favorites, Minnie Riperton, Inside My Love. And she also co-wrote songs with Aretha Franklin and so on and so on. And today she is hanging out with us and we're gonna talk about some stuff. We're gonna focus on background vocals, but we're gonna go wherever the spirit takes us. So welcome.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Oh, I'm so excited to have you because you know how I'm crazy about you, girl. I'm out of control with it. Like I know
we locked in now. We family. We locked in.
Yes, we are. As you can see, I'm rocking. Y'all need to look.
I sure do appreciate it. I really do. We have some new merch coming very soon. It's a whole different thing now.
Oh, okay. I'm on it.
Nice.
But it was so crazy how I was actually introduced to Trina because it was like when I heard her song Inside My Love, her version of it, I was like, yo, who is this? I was on some Whitney stuff. Well, you know how Whitney, when she hear a new girl that can really sing, she be like, who is she? Who is she? So I was like, who is this girl? Like, and then I was like, of course, me reading liner notes. I was like, oh, this is Trina Broussard. Okay, cool. So then when Aretha did her Here We Go Again, of course, me looking at liner notes, I said, I know that background voice. I know her from somewhere. And I heard it and I was like, that's Trina again. So from there, I've been a fan, from Sailing, then from Same Girl, and then all the background vocals that you do, because me and Elise are big background vocal heads. Then when I started my show, Current R&B Bangers, I did Where I'm Supposed to Be. And from that moment, it was just like, yo, where's she at? Where the new music? Then we connected on social media. But the day we really connected, when I put up I'm Your Baby Tonight with Whitney Houston, and it was her 29th anniversary. And I was just talking about it and going in about it. And you just DM'd me and said, call me now.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Yeah, we was on there for like 30 minutes just talking, talking about Whitney, how Whitney is really a down chick. Y'all need to stop with the foolery. And like, it was such a great conversation. So from that, it was like, yo, I'm family. Like, I be texting her Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. And
always.
I'm like, yo, I'm cool with a lady that I was really a fan of back in 97. So to be cool with you like this and then to be doing this, I'm like, hype. I'm
honored. I thank you too. It goes both ways, man. We're not, as artists, we can't do this without people presenting us on their platform. And I'm honored. You could have chosen anybody, and as you can see, I'm a regular chick. You know what I'm saying? I don't get caught up in the hype. I'm just I don't fall for anything. I'm cool.
I love it. Yes, because when we was on the phone, I was like, yo, me and Trina like really like talking like this is normal. You know what I'm saying? And then you was on tour with Rasan, so that was dope. So I was just like, I was in heaven after that night. I called my mama. I called everybody. It was like, yo, I talked to Trina Broussard, and my mom was like, you lying. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not. So yeah, that was a moment. That was a moment for me. I at least had to give me
what an honor.
Tell my story. So
tell mama I said hey. Tell mama.
You know I will. You know I will.
Yep.
So yeah, kind of first we wanted to know what is it like singing background? Like what's the feeling? What's the energy like?
It's great, particularly if you're on the line with great singers where you can learn from them, you can blend, you can be able to listen, you can be able to learn from them also. I've had an opportunity to work with some very, very great singers throughout the years as far as singing backup. There's a host of people. There's Tiffany, gosh, it's gonna kill me. Tiffany, I can't think of Tiffany's last name. Carlos Ricketts, there's Tony Scruggs, there's Jason Morales, there's Cindy Mizell, I had an opportunity to sing backup with James D. Train, a host of people, you know, regarding the artists that I've gotten a chance to sing backup from, and I've learned from them also. Depends on the gig. I learned a lot from Jennifer Holliday. Jennifer Holliday, that was an honor because I grew up listening to Jennifer Holliday. She was one of my favorite singers. And we go in and we start doing, I think it was I Am Love, or one of the songs. And I have a tendency, my ear has a tendency at times to go straight to soprano. I just hear soprano parts. I mean, I hear other parts, but naturally I start singing the top notes or whatever. And on this particular gig, Jennifer, I think we were singing I Am Love, and it was a little too high for me. And Jennifer taught me it was some trick, I can't remember verbatim, but it was some trick where she put me right there where I needed to be. So she was like, when you sing this part, as far as a background, it's a natural thing as if you're singing lead, but you still blend. I can't really remember what it was verbatim, but that was one of the great moments of a teachable moment for me from one of my favorites. Also another one that I learned a lot from, it's been so many, and I'm not saying that to be egotistical or pompous, I'm just getting old.
Oh no, own that girl.
I learned a lot from being around Whitney, being around Bobby Brown at the time when Whitney and Bobby were married. Whitney was very influential. You know, of course, Rahsaan Patterson, of course, that's a given. And recently last year, for the Christmas holidays, we had an opportunity to go out on the road with Kenny Lattimore and Regina Bell. And Regina Bell has this saying, because I'm a light top singer. I mean, I can push when I need to, but for the most part, I'm a light top singer. I have a tendency to be airy sometimes and real light. And Regina would have this phrase when she wanted you to sing out more, she'd say, "Put your weight on it." So I mean, you know, just being able to learn from the legends that I've listened to coming up. Again, going back to Rahsaan, that is a masterclass all in itself when you learn the parts and you get to stand next to some of the singers that I mentioned earlier, Rare Valverde, Jason Morales, Tony Scruggs, and a host of other people. I mean, it's like I said, it depends on the gig, but for me, all of them have been great. Each one has taught me something different, taught me something new, taught me something valuable. So it's a blessing in itself to do all of them, to work with all the artists. As well as Jennifer Lopez, you know.
So when you know, because I know you from Houston. So when you went to Atlanta, what did you hear that LaFace was doing? They were coming in, like, what made you make that move from Texas to Atlanta?
Actually, a friend of mine, Marcy Brooks, she and I were singing, and I had another friend, Natalie Burks, who I went to high school with, and Natalie is an excellent piano player, singer, has an excellent ear. And initially, Marcy and I had gone there was a station in Houston called Magic 102 FM, and I think at the time, Jim Snowman was the DJ on the morning drive, and After 7 had just come out. They were on a promo tour, and they were actually doing a live remote thing from McDonald's, which was right around the corner from my house. So my best friend Marcy called me and was like, "Hey, you know, Magic 102 is around the corner. After 7 is up there." So we went up there and we met Kevon and Melvin. God bless his soul. Melvin was the one who informed me. He was like, "You know, if you really want to get some stuff going, you should move to Atlanta. Atlanta's the new Mecca." At the time, he was right. You know, Bobby Brown had just moved here. LaFace was just launching their label here. A lot of the artists, Pebbles, a lot of the artists from LA who were living in LA before had moved here. So I talked to my friend Natalie, as I mentioned earlier, the piano player, about coming here. And we demoed some stuff actually before we left Houston to come to Atlanta. And they had a friend of my older sister who said, "You know, you really need to get out of here. You should go to Atlanta. You know, if you're really trying to pursue your career, it's not here in Houston." And my family kind of gave me their blessings, and probably about 3 weeks later, I packed up and I moved to Atlanta, and things moved very swiftly for me when I got here. There was, well, Natalie and I had looked on the back of some of those albums that Babyface and them had been doing, Pebbles. We were supposed to have a meeting with Teddy Riley's manager, Gene Griffin, and we missed him by maybe 2 minutes. And right next door was a studio that we started kind of peering into the window, and a guy came to the door, and we were just telling him that we had missed a meeting next door. And this is so funny. He let us in, and we were really young, timid. I was barely 20, 21. And we made it very clear before we took 2 steps in the door, we're not here for any tricks, for any trades. We are strictly here about our career. And the guy was very nice. He walked us to the back, and there was a guy back there in the back on the baby grand piano playing. And the guy, Kat, who at the time was working for Bobby Brown, said these 2 young ladies were supposed to meet Gene Griffin next door. They missed him by 2 minutes. Gene left. And he said, well, can you guys sing? And we said, yeah, we can sing and we can play. So Natalie asked him if she could play the piano. He got up off the baby grand and let her use it. And we did Vision of Love by Mariah Carey. She could also sing as well. She played The Fire out of that piano for that audition or what have you. And come to find out, the guy, Dennis Austin, who was the MD at the time, I mentioned Texas and I started talking about it. And he was like, wow, I have family in Texas. I said, oh, really? I said, I'm from Houston, but I have family in Lubbock. And he said, wow, my son's mother is from Lubbock. And come to find out, I mentioned some names, and come to find out his son's mother was my cousin. So come to find out we were cousins. And Natalie was the only child, and Nat was a little homesick. Natalie wanted some things to happen like right then and there. And Natalie got a little homesick, and Natalie called her parents and asked them to come and get her. She didn't want to stay in Atlanta. And her father was having some medical challenges as well, so she was kind of worried. So Natalie left on a Sunday, and I got a call from Dennis Austin on a Monday to go on tour with Bobby Brown, to tour Japan with Bobby Brown. And it kind of started from there, just kind of snowballed from there. And then I did an audition with TLC with Left Eye, Chili, and T-Boz at the time. Pebbles was auditioning for her, I guess, first tour. And like I said, Tion, Left Eye, and Chili, they auditioned me. I didn't think I was going to get it. I told them I'd just come off the road with Bobby Brown. And I was a little down about it. I got home a little late, and when I checked the answer machine, I had like 4 or 5 messages, and they were like, can you come back to the audition? And I got back to the audition probably about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And Pebbles was sitting there. She had about 4 or 5 other singers. I guess that they were down to the final singers. And they asked me to get up and do a couple of songs with the other singers that had already been there. And I don't think I got past the 2nd or 3rd song. And Pebbles said, that's it, I made up my mind. And I was able to go on tour. And from there, I started doing demos for LaFace, for Babyface. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I have to say, it has been nothing but the grace of God. It's just most certainly no goodness of my own at all, for these opportunities, you know?
Yeah, just the way that the Bobby Brown went from you, it was like it was one missed opportunity that turned into probably what was the bigger thing.
Right, absolutely, it was, absolutely. So sorry about this phone moving, y'all.
Oh, you're good. You look great.
Okay.
So when you do your solo stuff, kind of what is your process of picking background singers for your projects?
As far as doing live stuff or studio stuff?
Either.
Both. Normally in the studio, I will do my own background vocals. I may call maybe one person in to kind of like change the texture and the tone for me. But for the most part, if it's not me, there's a couple of girls that I've used here before, ladies. I'm sorry, Rachel, who's really good. And most of the time it's myself or it's Trey Lorenz, you know, or it just depends. Rory Valverde did some stuff. But for the most part, as far as my last projects, I've done the background vocals myself. Called a few people in to put some textures on it, but realized that it didn't match and it didn't work, so I pulled back on it. But for the most part, I do it myself. As far as live, for a very long time, because of the budget that I didn't have. And I learned this from Rasan, and it's really weird because Rasan has done it a couple of times, but he always goes out with background singers. But watching him on stage for almost 20 years and seeing how he masters his phrasing, I've been able to kind of pull it off without background singers. I would love to have them. I've had them occasionally, but not often. But for the most part, as far as live shows, I'm usually pulling it myself. And if I do have background singers, I kind of leave that up to, I trust the MDs that they will get the singers that I need. And I've never been steered wrong so far.
No.
That just shows she bad. She don't even need them. You see what I'm
Yes, I
saying?
do. I just can't afford them sometimes. And I don't want to insult anybody, as far as, if the pay isn't right.
I got you. I got
You
you.
know?
I got you.
Well, you mentioned Rasan Patterson, and
Mhm.
we wanted to talk a little bit about After Hours, because you all up and all over that thing. And it's one of our well, it's my favorite Rasan album, actually,
Mhm.
and one that JR really loves as well.
Mhm.
And what was it like being a part of that process and working on that album?
Fun. I think that was a couple of sessions with Cherie Patrice, who's a bad singer, who's a great singer-songwriter. She actually started out as a background singer with Rasan before Robert and myself. It was great. It was fun. It was Robert was there. Rasan gives us a sense of freedom. He's of course he's structured, what he wants to hear and what he has, but often Rasan gives us the room to make up parts for him, if he approves them. But there's freedom in that, and it's an atmosphere of just being like a kid in a candy store and just kind of soaking it up, sitting back watching too. But fun, it could be technical at times. As far as the technique, Rasan's ear is incredible, so some of the parts that he comes up with, are amazing, beautiful. Again, like I said, the years that I've had an opportunity to be around Rasan and be up under him as far as background singing in the studio or on stage, it's been a masterclass. I can say that. It's been a masterclass.
Yeah, because I really wanted to know how because y'all went to church on So Hot. Y'all definitely did. Y'all went to church, because I was like, when you said freedom, it seems like it's Cherie on there, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that would be McKellen.
Okay.
McKellen Roderick, who's a great singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
I think that's Lua Crofts, whose father is from Crofts, Stills and Nash. So I mean, and I don't think Cherie was a part of that. I know Cherie did the April's Kiss and a couple other songs. I'm not really sure. It's so many, but and again, like I said, Rasan is good with blending different textures. He knows what he wants, and I also have to credit the vocal arranger on some of Rasan's stuff, who I've learned from also, and that is Rasan's producer, Jamie Jazz, that he works with, often co-producers with, or what have you. Jamie Jazz is really, really great at arranging vocals, coming up with different parts and stuff. So, I mean, with those two, given the opportunity that I had to work with them, the collaborative effort between them is really, really great as far as what they come up with parts and background vocals too. So I have to credit Jamie Jazz for his ear as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes do y'all always credit each other sometimes, or sometimes y'all remain like uncredited in background vocals? Because sometimes I'll be thinking I hear you on something and maybe you're not credited, or maybe I hear Rasan on something.
What you see is what's there. A lot of times, Rasan always gives him my credit, always. And a lot of times you may hear Lua, because a lot of people think that I'm singing on the back of Don't You Know, his Luther's cover, and that is Lua Croft, who's an excellent singer. But again, like I said, Rasan is very smart. He's very in tune with different tones and different textures that he wants to mix on vocals and songs that he chooses to do. And I kind of like that too. Again, background singing is about being able to blend with different textures and different tones. So yeah, again, as I mentioned, I always give my credit. A lot of times people think I'm singing on certain songs and it's not me, it's all Rasan. And they mean, is that you? I'm like, no, that's Rasan. But the beauty of it is I've learned to, in some cases, match my tone to his, and he's learning but he knows in some cases how to match his tone to mine. So I always get the credit, but if you don't see the name, that's all him or somebody else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because JR, he be listening, he be like, is that so-and-so? And he used to be right, but sometimes he be like, I don't know. And
I'm listening. I'm like that too. I listen for the background vocals. Particularly as a kid, I could pick up on different things, but I'm like that too, So I listen like JD does still to this day.
That's why I get it. because speaking of that, you know your Same Girl album, which I love, and Lies, because you know I go in on Lies, and I know that Trey Lorenz is on there, and I always felt like Rasan was on there. I was like,
no, that would be that is Rare, Trey, and myself, but that's the three of us. That's Trey Lorenz, Rare Valverde, and Trina Broussard on those background vocals.
Yeah, because when you told me, because when I asked you, we was on the phone, and you was like, "No, baby, it's not Rasan on this one," and I was like, "No, are you serious?" I was like, "I thought I heard him," because I'm like that. I'm like, because me and Elise, we love background, so that's why it's like I'm always use the background. That's why I said when I listened to "Here We Go Again," you co-wrote, I heard that background and was like, I know that voice from somewhere. My love.
Yeah,
like,
that would be Mr. Lorenz, who by the way I have to give credit to, has taught me a lot about background vocals. How could I forget him? Trey was the one that initially got me started going in the studio singing. We used to go to, at the time, Trey and I were signed to So Def, so Jermaine would call us all day, every day to come and do demos or do background vocals for records. Jermaine was spitting out records literally every day. And Jermaine, it was Trey who introduced Jermaine to me. And Jermaine would call at 12 o'clock at night. And at the time, Trey and I were roommates. Trey come across the hall. Hey, Jermaine just called. He wanted us to come to the house and do some vocals. We would get up. I mean, because it was fun, you know, it was fun back then, you know, we were getting up doing that. So, and he kind of gave us the freedom too. He gave us the freedom to go in and create and arrange different background vocals too. Jermaine would do that.
So do you think now background vocalists kind of get the respect that they deserve or much needed as they used to? Because you know, and I know, and Elise, we know that R&B has definitely changed. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely changed, well, mainstream wise. Is background vocalists getting calls like that and being able to be free like they used to, or is it
changed? Well, you know, if you get a chance to look at 50 Feet from Stardom, you know, they definitely got a story told. Lisa, they were able to get a Grammy for, you know, for that documentary and for that film. I've been kind of out of the loop a little bit. You know, I've been with Rasan for so long, and like I said, I did some stuff with Kenny Lattimore, and I started doing some of my own stuff. So as far as singing backup for a lot of different people, I don't know what the climate is out there anymore. I have to be honest with that. I don't know, but based on seeing some of my friends that's doing it, like Tony Scruggs, Artia Lockett, Paula Champion, Jason Morales, Carlos, who sings backup for John Mayer. You know, I'm always happy if because, you know, the industry has changed as far as work is concerned. And what has happened with the industry regarding singers, you know, a lot of people use tracks, you know, even if they're on stage live, they fly background vocals in. What I mean by fly background vocals in, I'm not talking about physically fly them in. I'm talking about there's a button that you push on a computer that may have the singer singing on top of it, or sometimes they just have the background vocals flown in electronically where you don't need background singers. But to see a lot of my friends still be able to do this is great. It's a lot of background singers that's still working good gigs and working and getting paid good money. So yeah, I would say that it's still happening for them.
Okay, because
and Sarah, who sings with Lettucey, yeah, I would say that. I would say that we're able to still work a little bit.
I always wanted to know, you know.
And I know I have concerts I've been to over the last 5 to 10 years. Like, I remember one thing that stood out is like the type of artists I went to see, like the background vocalists were just as good, if not better, you know, than the artists. So like I have seen some beautiful lives where I go home and I'm like, man, that background was good, you know?
Right. Well, you know, again, like I said, I thank God for all the opportunities that I've had to sing with different artists, from Bobby Brown to Whitney, to Pebbles, to, you know, J-Lo. It doesn't matter, you know, particularly, like I said, as I mentioned, Jennifer Holliday was one of my favorites. You know, it's a blessing, it's an honor. And again, I'm a consumer too. I'm one of those where I go to the concert the first thing, of course, I'm paying attention to the audience, but I mean to the artist, but I've always, my eyes instantly gravitates to the background vocals. I'm listening, and so far so good, you know. And I would say the new generation that's coming up, the new singers, the young singers, they are bad too, man. They are great, you know. So they're creating workshops, and hey, as a matter of fact, I don't think back then that the singers were doing workshops, but I could be wrong. But I would give kudos to the young and upcoming background singers. They're definitely doing their thing too, and they can sing. They can really sing, and they can blend very good.
Yeah. And that's what the main thing is, blending. Because sometimes I've been in a couple of shows where some background vocals wasn't blending, and it was like, ooh, I'm ready to go home. This ain't working. You know what I mean? Like,
because like I always say, you can have a group of people and they can all sing down, but if those voices aren't compatible, or if they can work on it to make it smooth, it doesn't matter. It sounds like a mess.
Right. Well, I put it like this. To me, everybody who, this is just my opinion, everybody who's a background singer isn't necessarily a lead singer, and everybody who's a lead singer isn't necessarily a background singer, if that makes sense to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I got it.
And that's not, and anybody who knows me and knows me well, that's not a diss at all.
Yeah.
And even for myself, there are certain gigs, there are some background gigs I know I couldn't sing on. Like, I mean, and I'm not saying that because it's a greater than less than. I don't think sometimes my tone doesn't match every gig that comes along. You know, there's somebody greater who can do straight gigs. I'm not saying that I can't be taught this, but I think there's room for somebody else who can do a gig where you don't sing any vibrato at all. I use my vibrato time. I mean, I can adjust and do what they need to do, but I mean, let's be honest, all gigs aren't for me. All gigs aren't for me. And that's not even, again, as I mentioned, on some greater than less than. It's about texture and tone. And sometimes I don't match the texture and tones, and then the three people standing on that line, their texture and tone might be better than mine. I may not be for that gig because I don't feel like I probably could keep up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm saying it in a very humble way. Like, you got to be honest. You can't snatch everything up. And you got some people that can do everything, you know, but I just don't think I don't think I can do all. I don't think I can do certain kind of gigs. And that's not a diss. That's just the ability for me.
Yeah.
Somebody's greater, you know, and that's what I mean by that.
Yeah, for sure. And
it takes a lot to say that, you know, because some people will take it knowing that they can't really, you know, do it, and you know, you got to be honest about it. So I'm having a transparent moment with you.
Oh yeah.
From a humble place.
You get it. Totally get it. So with that being said, so with you did background for so many people, what is maybe a favorite moment besides, you know, you told us about, you know, shoot, dang it. I just lost my train of thought. Oh Lord. Yes, Jennifer Holliday. You told us that, you know, that was a moment for you. Do you have any like favorite moments when you were doing background for other people, or something that happened on stage that was a big thing or something for you that was like a highlight that you would never forget?
So many. It was great to sing back up with Patty Austin. Patty would do her duets with her and James Ingram, but she would do James' part, and she would go in and change her voice and do it just like James. And the way she mastered it, it was great. And let me just say this for all gigs, it's particularly Patty Austin, Regina Bell, Kenny Latimer, people that I grew up admiring, you know, Jennifer Holliday, to see these people that I admired growing up listening to, and to have the opportunity to stand behind them. I used to stay in the house while my older siblings would go out. My thing was, I didn't hang out. I didn't go to a club until I turned 21. First of all, my parents are both musicians. You know, they gigged a lot. So I was always going into the club with them during the day while they would go set up their equipment. You know, we would watch our parents rehearse at home. And I was very, 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 very shy coming up. I wouldn't really sing in front of my family. So I will tell you this, when I told my family I was moving to Atlanta to pursue a music career, they were like, no, you're not. I was like, yes, I am. They was like, because you won't even sing around here. You won't even sing around us, you know. But while they were gone, I'm the last of 6 children. So while they were gone, my sisters were into being majorettes, flagettes, drill captains, and all of that kind of stuff. They would go away to camp every summer for, you know, cheerleading camp or whatever it was they were doing. And I was one of those kids who stayed home and listened to music. I stayed in the house. I was always into reading the back of the album covers and seeing who the background singers were, seeing who the horn players were. That was my thing. My world was being in the house, you know, listening to music. And I just remember as a kid coming home, and my favorite group coming up, and it's still my favorite group to this day, is the Emotions. I would come home and my mom would have a new album sitting on the table, a new 45 sitting on the table, and that would just be a joy. And I would stay home and listen and sit in front of the speaker, put the headphones on, and just that was my playtime for me, just listening.
Oh, that was my life. That's my life now.
Right.
Oh, they are.
Yes, it is.
That's
me. Absolutely.
Because I remember when we was on the phone, and I remember because I was like, yeah, I love the Bobby album. Like, I think I told you, I was like, I love the Bobby album. And you was like, you know, I'm on that. I was like, you are? I was like, wait a minute. I'm reading line of notes. You was like, go, and I was like, I got it. You was like, baby, I'll wait. Go ahead. So I went and grabbed it, and I looked, and I was like, oh, snap, she is on Stormaway, and she's on College Girl. I was like, how did I miss this? Like, what? You was like, yeah, baby, I'm on it, because I'm trying to debate with her, like she ain't on it. She was like, no, baby, I'll wait.
Yes, it's been a blessing. I mean, and some of those things I have to go back and look at. A lot of stuff I forgot about. Somebody reminded me of something I was on the other day, some Jay-Z stuff. I was like, I totally forgot about that. So, I mean, yeah, again, as I mentioned to you guys, you know, being able to do this, and I'm not ashamed to talk about my age at 51, to be able to still do this and to still have people like you and other folks come in and remind me and you know, and support. It's a beautiful thing, you know, and again, I don't take it for granted. And again, as I mentioned, it's most certainly no goodness of my own at all. It's just been the grace of God to be able to connect with people. You know, even back in 2016, I hadn't put a record out in years. And I was really afraid when I was going to do the guys from R&B Mogul, we were talking about it. And I was like, you know, I don't know if I want to do it. You know, I was really scared, you know. And he was like, you know, you gotta release that fear. So finally, you know, after having that talk for a couple of weeks, I finally said, okay, Trina, you know what? You just gotta take a chance. And I have this saying, you know, you throw it up against the wall, see if it's gonna stick or slide, you know. And that's just how it is. And that's what we did. And for a do, it stuck to the wall. And well, all of it did, you know. Just grateful for all of it.
Yeah. You want to go with the word association, sis?
Oh, Lord. That's a surprise. It's going to... Oh, Lord. What's happening now?
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Quiz, no.
You're going to make it bad. You good.
Okay.
All right. So usually we pick a word and have someone to tell us the first song that they think of. But this one, we're going to name some different background singers, and you can share either a quick memory or the first song that you think about with them, or just anything you want to say about the person.
Okay.
Does that work?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
What I say, oh, Lord. Gotta sit here and brought class to this thing. I'm joking. It's okay. I like to have fun. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First one, Melody Daniels.
Melody Daniels. Make It Happen. I'll Be There. Ooh. And of course, I went down to, I can't remember the name of the place they used to do in New York, but there was this club everybody would go to on Sunday nights. And I think Ron Gant was the guy who would host this thing. And I went one night and Melody Daniels got up and sung her version of the Brady Bunch. And every time I see Melody, I always remind her about that. So when I think of Melody Daniels, masterclass, phenomenal, just effortless and anointed, you know?
Yeah.
Anointed.
All right. Next one, Lisa Fisher.
Oh, are you kidding me? I had an opportunity to sing background for her. And I mean, I keep using these with masterclass. Beautiful, beautiful tenacity, spiritual. How can I ease the pain? I have a tendency sometimes to sing the bridge all the time, you know, when I'm at home and cleaning up. Spiritual. I think of Lisa just spiritual, just an angel, just I'm trying to find it's coming. Spiritual, angel, breakthrough, still here, still doing it, you know?
Yeah, she's dope.
You know,
Oh my God.
masterclass.
Yes.
And she came from the school of, you know, Lisa was one of the people that we watched also, and just to sit with her, just a beautiful spirit, and just to come from that school of Lilith. And anybody can come from the school of Luther. What else can you say? You know?
Facts on that one. Me and Elise talk about that all the time. We be like,
I mean,
yo,
school of Luther.
Song or something, it's a rap.
School of Luther, and you know, singing back up for the Rolling Stones, and just, you know, just pure history, just legend, icon of background singers. That's what I can say.
Yes, that's why I knew she had to be talked about in that documentary. You know what I'm saying? I knew it. I was like, when is Lisa gonna come up? Got her, because she's dope. And when I saw she was gonna tour with the Rolling Stones, I didn't even know that. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing great so far. You're doing good.
Thank you.
All right. Sissy Houston.
The ruler, the teacher. Nobody moves without Sissy. To my understanding, Luther didn't move without her. A lot of that stuff that we love so much, you hear Sissy loud and clear coming through on those vocals. The originator, you know, the mother of Whitney Houston, but she had Sissy has done some things herself, you know, but I mean, what can you say? What's the word I'm trying to find for Sissy Houston? Mother, the originator, the queen of it, you know, just Sissy Houston. I mean, I was listening to, there's a channel XM, Aretha has a channel XM radio, and it's 726. And I have been listening for the entire month of February. I'm still listening. I just turn it on and leave it on all day. And a lot of those songs, you hear Sissy loud and clear, just beautiful. I mean, what can you say? Just the originator, the teacher, the master of it, the maker of it, you know, arranging background vocals. I mean, she started off with Elvis Presley. I mean, not start off but she sang with Elvis Presley, you know, so, and she's a mother of Whitney Houston. Whitney learned a lot from her mom. And, you know, you can hear, when you hear, you go back and listen to some of those Whitney records, you know, you hear Sissy, you hear what Sissy taught her. You can tell the influences. So, and Whitney influenced me. So, an influencer, a great influencer. I would consider Sissy Houston an institution.
Ooh. That's big. That's a big one. That's a big one there.
The institution of background vocals. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Luther wouldn't move without her, and you could hear that rich tone. So I was listening to Since I Lost My Baby, and you hear Sissy loud and clear. And it's beautiful. I mean, just powerful. I was listening to it today. I couldn't even get out the car. When I was coming back from the store, I sat and listened to it and turned it up loud in the driveway. I didn't get out until it was over.
I know that's right.
That's what Luther song just see. If it's halfway and you get out the car to go in the store, you like, well, the store will be there.
I didn't move. Rich, just rich.
So
rich tone, rich.
And textured and complex, and oh man. All right. You're doing wonderful. Next
Thank
one,
you.
Darlene Love.
Who? Darlene Love.
Yeah.
Icon. I mean, and found a way to still connect with younger folks and put a lot of them on. A lot of people learn from her. She's a teacher, a true teacher, a true teacher, a true teacher.
And I actually, that's where I actually really started. My mom started my class of music class 101 when she told me Shing Ding, and I looked at the Blossoms, and my mom was like, pay attention to her. And I'm like, and my mom's like, that's Darlene Love. And then the class started. Once Shing Ding started, because I'm like, you know, I'm paying attention to Aretha when Aretha wasn't that break through Aretha yet, when she was doing, you know what I'm saying, the Columbia record. And I'm paying attention to them, but my mom is like, no, I'm focused on her. You know what I'm saying? And my mom was like, and once that started, so Darlene Love is a favorite for me too. So
I mean, Icon, what do you say? I mean, listen, I look forward to seeing Darlene Love every year on The View around Christmas time, because Whoopi Goldberg is crazy about it. So listen.
Yes, she is.
Yes, you know, but I mean, but you know, but thank God we still have some of them here so they can tell us the stories about things. They're still teaching, and it's still beautiful. Still singing well, still taking care of themselves. I mean, you learn how to take care of yourself, you know. They teach you how to take care of yourself. They give you your little droplet, they give you gems, you know, stuff that you can use. You know, they're not selfish with it. They're teachers, they're icons, they're passing it on, and I appreciate it.
All right. One more. Now I can't read my writing. Tabitha King? Is that right, John? Tabitha King.
No, Tabitha McGee.
Oh, McGee. Did I get it wrong?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. McGee.
Now, let me just say this. I need my behind whoop because I'm a little miffed. I don't know who. Enlighten me, please.
But that's
please.
the one that did Juicy Fruit.
Tawatha?
I did not. What did I say? I said Tabitha.
Tawatha, gee, now I was supposed to say Tawatha? Oh, please, listen, that's another one. That is, are you kidding me?
Girl, I'm so sorry because I'm drinking Tawaka. That's why.
I didn't read my own handwriting.
Tawaka, a G, listen.
Tawaka, a G, yes.
Listen, Trey Lorenz and I have a saying when we hear her voice, and I love her voice. And I tell her this all the time on social media when I get a chance and we run into each other. Listen, that one right there, no joke either. I've heard some stories where she comes in and puts it down. Cindy Mizell has told me great stories about her. But I mean, but tone, texture, that's another one Luther didn't move without it. You can hear that texture and that tone.
Oh,
you can hear it. I mean, just listen, she got a song called I'll Take You on a Thigh Ride, okay? I'll take you on a thigh ride. Listen, just listen to her tone. I mean, just beautiful. I mean, that's an icon too. I'm sorry. She's still
if she see this, still
doing it bad to the bone, looks great, still sound good, still listen.
Yes.
Listen.
Bad. I just tore a name all up.
That's okay.
Yeah, I did too. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about Tawaka, and I'm agreeing with you.
It's okay. It's okay, y'all. It happens. It's okay.
I was like, I don't know who y'all talking about. And I'm like, no. The girl, and you like, what?
I was like, now y'all gonna kill me now. Like, please forgive me. Y'all gonna have to enlighten me a little bit. Tabitha King, never heard.
Kill us.
It's okay. It happens. It's okay. It's okay, guys.
Yeah.
But Tawatha, Juicy Fruit with James and Tume. I mean, what can you say? Was this the classic? I mean, you, me, and he. What we gonna do, baby? And she told the story, and you can listen. You understand it. You see it when you hear it. You see the expression. I mean, listen, what can you say? Classic. A classic. Classic. Icon too. Legend.
And then one more from me, Trey Lorenz.
Trey Lorenz, teacher, fun, but very serious and very resourceful. Trey, I would say Trey is a Motown historian. Any songs that's older and you can hear something, Trey will say that's so-and-so and so-and-so. That was back in 1967. I mean, he's very, very, very insightful when it comes to music. As far as learning parts, as far as a great, I mean, people don't, Trey's a great songwriter. Trey's a very great songwriter. He's into lyrics. He's a very great songwriter. My brother, he gave me a chance to get in the industry. And as a matter of fact, he actually got me on the road with Mariah. I was touring with Mariah for a minute. We were about to go out on a big tour, and I actually quit and left her gig for Rasan's gig. He was a little disappointed, but he understood, family. I can call him family. We fight like sisters and brothers, but I love him dearly. He's a one of a kind. That's a bad brother. That's a bad brother.
That's why I just wish that his debut album would have got so much more than what it did, because that is a dope album to me. You know what I mean? And it just didn't get what it really deserves. Probably some politics and all that, but but at the end of the day, I just think he's dope. You know what I mean? That's why I wanted to, and I know you two are cool, and he done worked with everybody, and it's just he's amazing. Like when I think of background vocals for males, he's top dog for me. That's why I wanted to see where you was gonna go with it.
Absolutely. He's a great singer, And when it comes to those background vocals, Mariah doesn't move without him. So that should tell you everything, and he's been there with her from the beginning. Interesting enough, he was actually signed to, when Mariah first got started, Trey was signed to Virgin Records. And Trey was in school at the time with Mariah. I think he was in his senior year in school. And he tells me this story. Senior year in school, Mariah was about to go with her first record and blow. And his mother told him, you cannot go on this tour with her until you finish school. That was his senior year in college. And he finished out and Mariah waited for him. She left the spot open for him. And once he graduated, and then I think after he graduated, he showed up at rehearsal, and one of the background singers said, "Hey, let's congratulate Trey on signing his deal with Virgin." And Mariah was like, "Oh no, they told Tommy Mottola about you." And to my understanding, Tommy Mottola bought Trey out of that Virgin contract and got him over to Sony with Mariah. So again, it goes to show you the love that she has for him. She doesn't move without him,
Yeah.
He's a legend and a classic in his own sense also. He really is. And fun, full of life, a young heart. And if he was here, he would tell a joke because he's so vain. He was like, "Y'all still look good." Because he'll say, "Trina, do you know so and so and so and so?" I keep saying, "Trey, I don't know those old songs. I keep telling you, you're a little bit older than me." He's like, "No, baby, you're probably about 8 months." So I always tease him, but he always said, "But I still look good." So, but he's a fun guy, and he's a legend in his own right too.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, so what are you doing? What you got going on? What with COVID going on? That's crazy, and the shutdown and all this stuff. So what you got going on? You got any new music coming? Anything?
I have a few things going on. I'm just kind of taking it slow. I started with some new merch that I've been working on, that I partnered with a friend, just for the designs right now. I recently during COVID, I put a few pieces in here and turned one of the rooms into a little mini studio. And I've been kind of quiet about it and sitting down on YouTube and seeing how to record vocals and how to do this and how to do that. It's a slow burn. And also, I'm storing a piano in here for right now for a good friend of mine, D Free. We're trying to do a live, and I've been taking a couple of little small piano lessons here from a chick online to teach his virtual classes online. So just kind of trying to stay quietly creative, I'm just not talking about it too much. But first and foremost, we're working on the merch. Music, I don't probably see that until the fall, not realistic. I've just been kind of like during COVID, quiet, trying to heal and rediscover a lot of things about myself. I recently lost a very, 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 very dear friend, which is coming up on a year. On the 12th of March will be the first anniversary of his passing. This is somebody I grew up with, who was like my brother, who was my biggest supporter. So, just kind of healing from all of that. And that kind of happened. He passed on the 12th of March of last year. And that kind of happened right when COVID was, hitting. And so just kind of like, just taking all that in. And I would tell you what COVID has done. COVID has allowed me to rest. I'm talking about like really, really rest. Not sleep all day, but like dismiss a lot of things I used to think was a big deal in this night. It gave me opportunity to release a lot of stuff, like to really rest and really sit down and get a chance to know myself and just heal from a lot of
It's
stuff.
perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get that too, because and I appreciate you. I lost my grandma March the 13th of last year. So
Right. The day
yes,
after.
My grandfather the week before that.
Wow.
and she lost her. So it's like 2020 and we're reaching the year. So it's like, it's sometimes I still try to call her and be like, Grandma, and then I realize, dang it. You know what I mean? So it's reflecting, and that's why I love that, me and Elise is doing, R&B reps, because it keeps me busy. It keeps me doing things that I love, talking to people that I love, you know what I mean? And, me and her, she's like my other half. I swear, me and her argue. We throw stuff at each other, but I love her to death. So doing this, it gets my mind kind of off that sometime, and at least know I can get sensitive. Sometimes she be like my little crybaby, but
yeah, I understand. And you know what? And crying is
rocking with you. So
and let me just say this: crying, the crybaby, nothing. Crying is good. It's releasing, it's cleansing. It's okay. It's okay. And what I will say this, regarding a lot of friends that I spoke to during COVID, everybody is trying to adjust to a place of normalcy. And what some of us had to do was remodel our existence. This is not normal. I mean, it's becoming normal now, but I think everybody kind of had a semi, or if not a full COVID meltdown to some degree. Like I live by myself, you know what I'm saying? My family's in Texas. All of my family's in Texas. They came down in October. Thank God they did. I really needed them. I really needed to see them. But I live by myself, and I had a couple of friends who are single. They live by themselves also. And we just talked about it like, listen, I think all emotions are valid. A lot of people didn't want to talk about it because you don't want to think, well, I don't want nobody to think I'm crazy, and I don't want nobody. And it's like, and you had some people say, well, if you didn't get your hustle on during COVID, if you didn't do this, listen, we don't get to tell people how to process whatever they're processing with this. It's okay. All emotions are valid. So, I mean, COVID was, 2020 was a masterclass. You know what I'm saying? If I think the most important thing is if you were able to survive it.
Amen.
That's a blessing. Straight up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
Around.
Still here, man.
Yes. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. You are such a
Thank you for having me. And the top of the hour, I'm so sorry, but I'm sorry. I'm getting better.
It's all good. It is all good. It's all good. This is a true honor for me. You know what I mean? Definitely being a fan of yours. And even though me and you talk on the phone, but now to see your face and conversate with you, it's a beautiful thing for me. So, right after this, I'm gonna be like, Mama, we did the interview. I got to see you. She's gonna be like, you know what? I gotta go to work in the morning. It's okay on my phone.
Like, Mama, I
Thank you guys so much.
No problem. We definitely.
And let's do it again. When I'll let you know about some stuff that I have come up, and let's do it again. And I promise you, I will be REATY.
Oh, that's all good. It's good. It's all good.
We'd love to have you back.
Thank you so much. It's been great, y'all.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
We love you, and good night, and thank you.
Love you too. Thank you. Have a great one, y'all. Stay safe. Have a great weekend.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.